Welcome to the Teacher Edition of Scheduling Field Tests in the Vretta DAP. This one is aimed and targeted at our grade 12 teachers. And so we are going to set up our field tests in Vretta. The process that we're going to go through right now is you actually registering for the field test with the Alberta government. So once we've done this, you are set, you are scheduled, and away you go. So let's get in there. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure you go to abed.vretta.com. You're going to click into your teacher account and you're going to go to your groupings page where you are going to see all of your groupings or classes that you have created. So in your session 2 field test section where you have created that grouping, you are going to click into it. Once you select that class, you're going to see this little dashboard at the top of your screen. You're going to have the access code up here in the pink box. That is something that students are going to require in order to be able to log in as a student into the Respondus platform. You do not need to add any students. When they access and log in to Vretta, they will automatically populate your grouping, aka class. Now, here I can see I'm in ELA 30-1, and here is where I can schedule my field tests. So I'm going to select this green button. Inside of this green button, it asks me what type of assessment am I supervising. This is where I am going to select field test. So unlike our practice exam space where we selected this, we are going to select the field test. A confidentiality agreement is going to pop up. This is kind of like your NDA, so read through it because once you select this OK, that means that you have agreed to all of these terms. From there, you're going to see which assessment is being delivered in this session. And so you can see all kinds of assessments down this page. They are still populating them, so please be aware that there may be more added, so you might want to check back in as well in the next month or two. Now, you're also going to see a few different things. You're going to see field tests that are called end of course. Those are the ones that we're wanting to schedule as a division to be able to test this environment. You do have the option though to also jump into like the Unit A field tests, Unit B, etc., etc. So check those out in here. They have them for all of the sciences as far as I can see. But the ones that we're going to schedule today are going to be those end of course or end of year. And so I am going to go down to English 30-1 because that is where I'm at. I am going to choose this end of course field test. I'm going to select it. Now, a new menu is going to pop up where you have your dates that you can do as well as your time. So do note that as a division, we are encouraging all of our grade 12 classes to write the field test in the Vretta DAP platform this year because it is a low risk, no risk situation to help provide mostly the teachers with that experience because next year it's going to be the diplomas in this space. And so we want you to have that experience of what it's actually like to administer them. But also we want to test that bandwidth within our networks to see what we need to have fixed and updated for next year so that we don't struggle with any of those unnecessary issues as we move into our diplomas when it's much higher stakes. And so with that, I'm just going to open this up. Our division does have set dates. However, with the grade 12 field test, you do have some flexibilities. So these were the dates that we have kind of prearranged with our grade 6s and 9s. But if you're unable to write your ELAL on this date, then you can refer to the Alberta Education Field Test Guide for their window of dates to adjust your dates within that window. And so grade 12, you have some flexibility in your dates, so you can adjust that by looking at the dates within the Alberta Education Field Test Guide. And so I'm just going to do this one on this date though, just so that I have a date. So I'm going to choose May 27th. And so you can see it's selected here already, so great. And I'm going to change my start time to 9 o'clock. So we're aiming for a 9 o'clock, but if it works better for your school site for 8:30, then you can start at 8:30. So I'm going to select 9. You do not need to put a name or description in, that's completely optional. Number of students, let's say for example, I have 38 students in my class, and I have 2 new students come, so now I have 40. Even though I filled this out as 38, you can still have 40 students join your class. This is just kind of like that rough idea. Then once I'm done, I can select OK. So again, field test, ELA 30-1 end of course, my date, my time, dates are flexible for within the window, and number of students, read through the confidentiality agreement, and now I'm going to select OK. Once I select that, what you're going to notice is that it's now under this tab called Scheduled Assessments. So very different than your practice space. I'm just going to jump down to your practice class so you can see that difference. In our practice exam space, as soon as I create that one, it's automatically active, which is why we can only create one at a time. And so I could click on this and I could actually launch the exam. But I'm not wanting to do that. And so I'm going to go back here just so that you can see. So that means that it's active. This means that it's scheduled. Now do note that if you have it scheduled for 9 o'clock, it will not go into the active space until 9 o'clock. And so you'll want to ensure that you have the time selected. And at 8:58, if you try to launch it, it's not going to work. It will only launch at 9 o'clock. So maybe you want to have it launch at 8:58, whatever it might be. You decide. But 9 o'clock makes sense. And then, like I said, don't be surprised if it's not there at 8:58, 8:59. And so that is how you schedule your field test. So make sure that if you have multiple groupings here, that you go in and you schedule your field test in each one of your groupings. They do, just a quick reference point, need to be scheduled 5 days in advance of the day that you are writing that test or that that window does open. And so with that, thank you for joining us and get those field tests scheduled. Thanks.